Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In
Warahmatullahi
this
wabarakatuh.
beautiful night, we will hold a, a debate, British parliamentary debate, with the motion: the government, this house, would limit the freedom of speech in Indonesia. Before we start, I would like to introduce the participants. For opening government will be Miss Della, and closing government will be Miss Rosie. Opening opposition, Miss Fabintang, and closing opposition will be would be delivered by Miss Annie. Okay, before I start again, uh, I will mention the timing of the debate. So for the first 2 minutes, I will tap my mic like this. That means the opening of POI. And in the 6 minutes, I will tap again. That means it will be the end of POI. And when I tap again in 7 minutes, it means the debate is over. Okay. For the first speaker as opening government will be delivered by Miss Della. For Miss Della, the time is yours.
Oke. Thank you Mas Waed. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. The motion is this house would limit the freedom of speech in Indonesia. Every individual has basic rights contained in the state's constitution. Freedom of opinion in Indonesia is regulated in Article 28A, Paragraph 3 of the 1945 Constitution, which reads, everyone has the right to freedom of association, assembly, and expression. Whereas based on the description above, this freedom is not unlimited freedom, but conditional freedom. When we do any activity, it will always intersect with the rights of others. Likewise, in the exercise of the right to freedom of expression, which must respect the dignity of others. And everyone is free to have issue and disseminate opinions according to their conscience, orally and or in writing, through print and electronic media by taking into account religious values, morality, order, public interest, and the integrity of the state. From the above provisions, it can be concluded that freedom of opinion in Indonesia, although it is a protected basic right, still has limitations, namely this limitation is in accordance with the Article 28J, Paragraph 2 of the 1945 Constitution. In exercising their rights and freedoms, everyone is obligated to comply with the restrictions established by law for the purpose of granting the recognition and respect for the rights and freedoms of others, and to fulfill fair demands in accordance with consideration of moral. The freedom of opinion, every person is limited by legal provision in the law to respect the rights and the freedoms of others, and Minister of Communication and Informatics, Menkominfo, Johnny G. Plate, emphasized that the right to freedom of expression and opinion in Indonesia has boundaries that must be obeyed. These limits, according to Plate, are the applicable laws and regulation. We must also realize that the quality of democracy, the quality of freedom, or of expression and opinion in Indonesia is not without limits. Limits are the rules that we have set forth. And also, the head of the Public Information, Karopenmas of the National Police Public Relations Division, Brigadier General Paul Dedy Prasetyo, said that although freedom of opinion in public is protected by Law Number 9 of 1998, there are limits that must be obeyed. Dedy Prasetyo said, this must be maintained together if you express your opinion freely and at will, while there are parties who are disadvantaged by the words the narrative is conveyed. And especially if the narrative that is delivered is far from the facts, so that it has the potential to spread fake news and harm other parties. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Miss Della has
Waalaikumsalam.
spent 5 minutes, 30 seconds exactly for her speech. So the next speaker, as opening opposition, will be delivered by Miss Fabintang. The time is yours, and don't forget to unmute your mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Today, I'm as opening opposition. The motion is this House believed to limited the freedom of speech. I think I really disagree if the freedom of speech have a limitation because of so many reasons. And like the first person said, that Della as opening government said about the rule and the regulation in the some pasal maybe that Indonesia still have limitation in some speech that government already said, but I think it's not enough for her to say that agree about no need but agree about limit the speech. And the speech, I think, very important for the country that have a democratic system, because in this country too many regulation that have cheat so many government have cheating that like corruption, illegal building, and I think like some illegal companies, what is companies that have so many dangerous material, but government is allowed to build the company, and the murder, construction, corruption, that is need to speak up by the freedom of speech. And I think there is so many regulation by the government that uh, allow the society to speak up in the front of the office, or maybe for some justice and law. And this is, I think, in undang-undang in pasal 3 bab humanity and companies. Maybe there is some reason that I really disagree if freedom of speech have limitation. Number one is through speech we have an independent way, independent press to interest some account speak up. We can speak up about our opinion and our data, the concrete data that we have approved that there is some crime things in 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 our place. And number two, without freedom of speech, if I being an presenter, uh, it is must be useless because the media is already covering by the government. So if we see in the media, it's not all about the truth. So there is not all about the truth in the media. So we can do the independent way to speak up the truth with the freedom of speech that we can record by ourselves. And the third is the freedom of speech is very useful for human right. If there is some poor society have not they not have just this way, like if their family is have what I mean uh maybe if their family is lost and have a rape on some people, just corruption in their royalty, we can speak up we can speak up with the independence speech, and we can help ourselves for our from our speech. Then we can through the media mldy.orange for the from Ani, that it's presenter from Liputan 6, we can share our speech to for speak up minority issues that it never being in the media. So we can speak up the concrete data, the proof that we can not see it in the media. So it is very useful to justice and law to poor society that not have justice. So the freedom of speech, we can make and some art too to make some poor society make their voice to
Your time is up.
their fair. Thank you very much. That is all that I can share for you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Miss Fabintang has spent 7 minutes and 15 seconds. So the next speaker would be delivered by Miss Rosiana Silvani as closing government, and to her the time will be yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow. Okay, I'm Rosiana Silvani as the closing government. So, as the millennial generation, the opinion is inherent in today's era, where freedom of expression, where freedom of opinion is getting easier, considering that we live in an era of advanced and developing technology. Everything can be easily conveyed using a lot of media, and if we pay attention to this, it's become importantly. Society, especially teenagers, must be aware of the importance of freedom of opinion. Freedom of opinion is the right of everyone, where someone can express their opinion freely without restriction except spreading hatred and Sarah, ethnicity, race, and religion. Freedom of opinion must, of course, be done in a smart or appropriate way. Don't let this freedom of opinion make us spread opinions arbitrarily so that it creates conflict. It is also important to remember that we must have an opinion according to our capacity and according to the fact and data. The public must understand that the freedom of opinion of or expression of political demands that are limited by the corridor of the prevailing laws and regulation. Between right and obligation must be balanced. It cannot, because it's democracy. People just keep on demanding their rights. If so, this is called an overstatement democracy. President Joko Widodo had said that democracy in Indonesia had gone too far. One form of this is fake news or hoax appearing on social media, not only disturbing the government, the circulation of hoax also trouble the public. There is manipulation of news, insulting others, accusing and disliking one another, and it makes a conflict. These are all the result of freedom and democracy using sophisticated communication to another form of exercise democracy can also be illustrated by the rampant democracy that are not in accordance with the rules. In several recent rallies, many participants violate the demonstration rules. Right and freedom of opinion can be limited if viewed from a good and bad point of view. Restriction on freedom of expression can also be carried out as stated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, Article 29, Paragraph 2, which reads, in exercising their rights and freedoms, everyone must submit only the limitation set by laws. Is simply to ensure the proper recognition and respect of the right and freedom of others, and to fulfill just condition of morality, order, the general welfare in a democratic society. This limitation is made so that someone is responsible for the opinion he expresses. In addition, decision to limit freedom is decision to limit freedom of expression are necessary to protect national security of public order. The right and obligation of citizens in expressing opinion in public, where on the one hand, the right of citizens to express their thought freely obtain legal protection. But on the other hand, there is an obligation to respect publicly recognized moral rules, comply with the laws and provisions of the prevailing laws and regulation, maintain respect, security, and public order, and maintaining the integrity of the nation. From the past until now, everyone is doing anything will always get savings related to the rights of others. The exercise of the right to express an opinion must not violate the obligation to respect the dignity of others. Then, when we want to have an opinion, then do it well. Freedom of opinion does not mean you can express your opinion whatever you want. There are rules, limits, and norms, as well as morals, that you must follow. If you don't care about state regulation, then think carefully. Use your conscience in expressing your opinion. We are both human, we both have right. If we have the right to freedom of opinion, then other people also have the right to respect and protect their good name. So that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Miss Rosiana Silvani has spent 7 minutes and 5 seconds. So I will end the Zoom meeting here, and we will rejoin because the Zoom is about running out. So we will be back here for several minutes after this. So see you in the next meeting. We're back again to the debate section about this house will limit the freedom of speech in Indonesia. And the next deliverer is Miss Septi Triani as closing opposition. For Miss Ani, the time is yours.
Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I refuse about this motion because freedom of speech is useful for voicing the opinion of every citizen, and state apparatus can listen to the aspiration of the community. The right to freedom of opinion to educate the nation life. Theoretically, to explain freedom of speech can refer to the opinion of Frederick Scour. Scour argues, when a free speech is accepted, that is a principle according to which speech is less subject to regulation within a political theory than other forms of conduct having the same of equivalent effect. Under a free speech principle, any governmental action to achieve a goal, whether the goal be positive or negative, must provide stronger justification when the attainment of the goal. The expression above is appropriate to explain freedom of opinion, because Square explained that freedom of opinion is related to opinions that are not full on certain rules, can be used of government action, and have specific purpose. The legal arrangement in Indonesia regarding the rights of freedom of expression are contained in the 1945 Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia and the Law of the Republic of Indonesia number 9 of
Terus
1998
Del.
concerning freedom to express opinion in public. The protection of the right to freedom of speech is regulated generally in the two laws and regulation. Protection of freedom of speech is specifically regulated in Pasal 28E paragraph or ayat 3 of the 1945 Constitution or Undang-Undang Dasar 1945. That is, everyone has the right to freedom of association, assembly, and expression. Freedom of speech is a very basic right because the right to freedom of speech is a human right. The objective of freedom of speech based on the considering part of the law on freedom of expressing opinions in public is to realize democracy in the order of life in society, nation, and state. The manifestation of freedom to express opinions is divided into various forms and referred to in Article 1.1 of the law atau pasal 1 angka 1 Undang-Undang Freedom of Expressing Opinion in Public. Namely, freedom of speech is the right of every citizen to express his thought orally and in writing and so freely and responsibly in accordance with the provisions of the prevailing laws and regulations. The public space that is used a means of expressing opinions is important because the opinion expressed in the public space can fulfill two ontological aspects or in Indonesian is um, berkaitan dengan keadaan. The first ontological aspect that can be fulfilled are related to the expression of humanity, or express themselves, and the unique in the identity. The fulfillment of these two ontological aspects is very important. According to Arendt's opinion, grounding speech as a distinctive characteristic of human beings that express themselves publicly might provide a non-consequentialist aspect to the theory of personal development. In an Arendtian sense, one might attribute to speech an existential significance only by way of speech to human beings express their unique identity among others in the public realm. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Miss Ani, as
Waalaikumsalam
closing opposition, has spent 5 minutes and 17 seconds for the rebuttal or the speech, and the next agenda is the grading by the adjudicator. The adjudicator is Mr. Rafian. To Mr. Rafian, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for this. Shut up. Okay, and the first is Della Afternoon Government. I look at she's on cam. She's like reading, and I think it's good pronunciation about talking about motion, and he have a point to mix the contra, and she has a 50-30 second time, and the second comment opening opposition is Fabintang. She's a contra about opening government speech in this country. It's important, and she has a mixed argument to point it's so strong, and she has a 70-minute several. Congratulations. And the third is closing government. I think it's a good pronunciation, and the best of sentence by closing government is freedom speech makes human right. I feel so studio. I feel so agree about point by closing government, and I feel so sad because I can't look at a gesture because closing government close the cam. And the last is closing government have a 60-30 minute, and the last is closing opposition is Ani reading ka on cam feels like before ka on cam. Jadi after apa ya? I can look at your face on the debate. I just maybe you're shy, malu-malu kucing, shy cat. And I'm sorry, Rosie. I look at you doesn't because maybe your connection, right? But the point is good. Nice. And Ani, the point about motion. But motion it's a mix strong uh, make it stronger. Without motion. And the winner of speech today is the winner is nungguin. The winner is opening opposition. Fabintang. Hahaha. Maybe that's it for me about educator. I'm sorry about if I doesn't. If I'm not explain too far because my nyowo is not full. Thank you very much for this time.
Thank you, Mr. Rafian, for very constructive criticism. And we are on our last agenda, which is closing. For all the participants, Ms. Della as opening government, Ms. Bintang as closing opposition, Ms. Rossi as closing government, and Ms. Ani as closing opposition, and also Mr. Rafian, I'm sorry, for the position of adjudicator. For all your enthusiasm for this debate practice is appreciated, very much appreciated. So that's for me. Let's close this debate practice with reciting Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
So I'll say my closing greeting. Forgive me if I have if I have wrong in this meeting. So assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.